Yeah.
Most people don't deserve to be proud of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I have confidence issues. And I say, if I was you, I would have confidence issues. Of course. I completely understand why you have confidence issues. You're a dork. But we have to be realistic here. We have to be absolutely and utterly realistic, because the world is brutal and it's harsh. If you're not proud of yourself, you probably don't deserve to be proud of yourself. So you're not going to feel happy. And you just talked about confidence. Confidence comes from competence. The reason I'm confident is because I'm good at everything.
Right.
I'm good at everything I do. The things I'm not good at, I'm not confident in, of course. And I know what they are. I don't do them very often. I've now created my reality to the point where I don't do anything I'm not good at.
You just hire.
I either hire or I just don't want to do it. Like I don't play darts.
Yeah.
I'm not good at darts, right? I do what I'm good at. Yeah. So yeah, I'm absolutely and utterly confident because I'm absolutely and utterly competent, and that takes practice and discipline and motivation, and you need to fail a few times. You need to get up. And like I said earlier, when I learned my entire mindset in professional fighting and chess, the two combined, that's how it comes down to. And when people say, oh, I have confidence issues, usually I can look them up and down and say, yeah, if I was you, I would completely and utterly struggle with confidence issues. Because the world is competitive, and there's men like me on the planet and friends like mine on the planet, and you're competing against us for money, for girls, for status, for resource, and you're going to be destroyed and decimated the entire time. So of course you have confidence issues when you can be annihilated in real time by the competitor. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have confidence issues? You'd be psychopathic not to. Well, it's supposed to be. Yeah. This is the thing that I don't truly understand. If I'm unhappy with something and I'm uncomfortable with something, I fix it.
Yeah.
That's endless motivation, which I don't truly believe in as a concept, but that's endless fuel for the fire.
Right.
If I was unhappy with something about myself, regardless of what it was, I would be able to take all of that discomfort and turn it into endless energy to get the problem fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
But these people seem to
it's okay to be unhappy.
Yeah. Well, these people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you live life long enough is that somebody will sit and say to you, I'm unhappy being a loser. You say, why are you a loser? I just sit at home and play video games 7 days a week. And you're like, okay. And maybe 3 days of the week, they're unhappy doing that. Yeah. And that's the time they email you, and that's the time they want to make a change. But 4 days of the week, they don't really, it doesn't really bother them. Yeah, it doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They would fix it.
Correct. Yeah. So I have very little sympathy for people. And that's not because I'm not a nice person, but it's because I've been so hard on myself, and I've been through so many things that were difficult, and I've been through so much pain and trauma myself, some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. But I've been so difficult on myself. It's very hard for me to look at somebody who's refused to be difficult on themselves and see them as my equal or feel sympathy or pity for them. Why would I feel pity for somebody who took the easy route when I took the hardest possible route? Yeah. I took the hardest possible way to be the man I am, and you were too big of a... And now you want me to feel sorry for you? I don't feel sorry for you. Yeah. I don't feel sorry for these people. And because as a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being a male. You can build your character completely from the ground up, just like a video game. Every single thing about me that people respect, I built. I was not born a world champion kickboxer. No. I was not born this intelligent or intellectual. I was not born this rich. I was not born this strong. I was not born this confident. I was not born this interesting. I was not born this charismatic and humble and gorgeous and tall and strong and sexy. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself. So I deserve all the spoils of war. And anybody who decides they don't want to work hard enough to become those things, then they deserve to sit and accept they're my inferior. Yeah. That's their problem. I couldn't sleep when I was broke. And this is where we're talking about being uncomfortable and how it can motivate you. When I didn't have enough money to buy whatever I wanted, I couldn't fall asleep at night because I understood there are people out there that did, and I didn't see them as better than me. And I thought, why are these people who I don't see as my superior living an experience that I can't live? And it bothered me to the point where I could not sleep. So yeah, that was real. When you talk about suffering mentally, I don't really consider that suffering. I have had a very painful life. I still think to a degree I do, but that's self-inflicted. But I can't imagine living any other way. I can't imagine living in this idea, this utopian, every day, just, girls, drink, hedonism. I don't want that. Yeah, it's degenerate. I think the only thing you can do that's not degenerate is usually be fighting a battle or solving a problem.
Growth.
Yeah, growth. Yeah. So you need to either fight a battle or solve a problem to avoid degeneracy, which means I'm constantly looking for them. I'm currently one of the largest battles a man can possibly take on. I'm taking on the Matrix, the most powerful people on the planet.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, is my life difficult? Yeah. Am I complaining about that? No. In fact, I'd hate it for it to be any other way. I've had some invites to some strange places with some strange people. I've had some anonymous messages which I verified to be true, which were scary, I guess you could say. I've definitely been contacted by the Matrix in and of itself. But initially, when they speak to you, they try to make you change sides.
That's trying to switch you.
Well, they try and get a degree of leverage over you, or they try and bribe you, or they try and get you to sell your soul.
Yeah.
So they'll try and invite you to a party where you do some degeneracy and they get it on video, or they try and get a threat against you and try and blackmail you, or they try and offer you a whole ton of money for this contract, but you have to be careful what you say now. And you have to, they try very hard initially to get you
without violence.
Yeah, without violence. They try with degeneracy. That's what they try. And that's
distractions.
Yeah. Well, you know, most people's hearts and souls can be bought. So when they can print unlimited money, why would they go the route of violence? They can just print unlimited money and give it to somebody and own them. Yeah. But when you're like me and you don't care about money, and you also have morals as a person, I am their threat. They can't buy me, and they've tried, and they can't convince me with a little bit either, or a lot. They can't. I'd rather go without. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So they can't.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. So. And that frustrates them because 99% of men in my position start chasing girls, chasing money, and then you end up controlled. Yeah, I don't think I've ever would have sold my soul because I have a baseline morality. However, yeah, you're right. I do live in abundance, so it's easy for me to say no. But greed is real, and humans are all naturally greedy. No matter how much you have, you want more, right? Yeah. If someone comes along now and offers me $200-300 million, you're still going to sit and think, that would be nice, right? But let's even talk about Islam. That's the reason I have so much respect for Islam as a whole, because I have so much respect for it because they have a baseline morality. We're here in Dubai. You could walk outside and find a poor construction worker who just moved here, who's earning, I don't know, no money, can barely afford to eat, and offer him $1 million to denounce the prophet. He won't do it. He'll never do it. He'll never do it. Whereas in the West, if you were to go and find a Christian,
$1.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything, right? So it's that baseline morality that they can't corrupt that they're afraid of. It's why they're afraid of Islam. It's why they're afraid of me. It's why they're afraid of people who sit and say there is more to life and existence in this and the next than simply degeneracy. Yeah. They don't like anything they can't completely and utterly control.
Yeah. And Muslims are uncontrollable.
Well, yeah, they have a higher purpose and a higher calling. I do think a lot of the world's problems, especially in the West, with the absolute degeneracy and the work of, what do you say, Shaitan?
Shaitan, yes.
The work of Shaitan?
Shaitan.
It could be fixed with Islam. Honestly, I call for the Islamification of all Western countries because Christianity has absolutely and utterly failed. The idea of a religion is to preserve the morality and preserve the traditions of a country. Exactly. If you have failed to do that, then you're no longer a religion. If you're going to sit there and inside of your own country, your prophets are mocked, all of your ideals are ignored.
And it's okay.
And it doesn't matter. Yeah. And society is degenerating in real time, and your children are no longer safe from brainwashing by the Matrix, then your religion in and of itself as a concept has failed. Christianity has failed to preserve Christian values on any level in any country ever. So now that you know it's a failed religion, that only leaves one religion left in which you can install. Degeneracy will disappear. Crime will disappear. Men and women will stay families again. People will have children. All the world's problems will be fixed.
They'll chase their goals.
Absolutely. I call for the Islamification of the entire Western world because otherwise we have atheistic countries. And when you remove religion, now what do you have? People are now adhering to woke ideology and this new insane religion. Everybody has a religion. If you remove Christianity from the West, you don't have atheists. You now have these people adhering to this woke new world liberal psychopathy where people are doing absolutely insane and disgusting things to each other and children. And they're sitting there saying that that's progressive somehow. And it's absolutely and utterly disgusting. So if we need a God to believe in to preserve morality and decency amongst humanity, then let's have a God that people actually fear and respect. And that's why Islam is the only religion left on the planet. There's no other religion you can possibly name that even matters. What's made me the most money is the War Room. The War Room is a private members organization that I run. So when I first got
this is interesting.
When I got extremely wealthy, I wanted to know where I kind of felt like I'd gone to outer space expecting to see aliens, and I got there and there were none.
No aliens.
I was like, where is everybody? Okay, I'm rich, but I expected once I became rich to meet other men who were rich, focused, intelligent, had their dating lives in order, their physical health in order, their finances in order, their connections in order. And I got to the top of the mountain and I looked around and realized nobody had it. Like, yeah, this guy's rich, but he's cucked by his wife and he's fat. This guy's rich, but he's controlled by the matrix. This guy's rich, but he's dummy. He just made a bunch of money making music, rap. He's an idiot. This guy's rich. Like, there was nobody who had it all.
Yeah.
I was like, and I wanted a network of genuine predators. I wanted the Freemasons almost. I thought I didn't want to join their organizations, but
You wanted people like you.
I wanted people like me. So I started an organization to find those men.
Yeah.
So now we have 3,000 members all around the world.
Wow.
A lot of them are very, very wealthy. A lot of them aren't. We have people who join who are 18-year-old brokies with nothing. That's fine.
They spent all their money on joining.
That's fine, yeah. Because if you're prepared to listen and learn, then you're in the right place. If you spend all of your time sitting around people who talk about how to become powerful and influential and rich,
You're just
guess what you're going to end up being?
Yeah.
Powerful, influential, and rich. So now I have the greatest network on the face of the planet. And when I say it's maybe the most money, it's not because of the membership fee. The membership fee is very low. It's cheap. It's because of the opportunities and connections inside of the war room. And that's why I am ultra competitive, and that's why nobody will ever beat me. If you're an individual and you wake up and think, I want to make my life better, and you spend 8 hours reading a book, that's fine. When I wake up to maybe 25 messages from some of the most influential and rich people on the planet that you've never heard of, telling me, buy this now. This is an opportunity to make money on the Russian ruble. This is an opportunity to make money
British
here.
pound, yeah.
This is an opportunity to make money on this land. This is what's going down in Iraq. Here we have an opportunity in Nairobi. And I'm sitting there going, okay. And I have got all this curated information and genuine opportunities in real time presented to me. And within 15 minutes, I've made a $5 million investment.
Yeah.
You're on page 1. You're still reading your book.
The introduction.
You're still reading.
Yeah,
you're still reading the introduction. And this is why, against people like me and my network and the other people inside the war room, you will always lose.
Yeah.
So the war room's maybe the most money, but not because of membership fees or anything like that, because of the genuine connections and opportunities inside of the war room. And we're just free minds. Anybody who listens to what I say and agrees with it and likes it should understand that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
100%.
And if you know 100%. That, then you need to make sure you're not spending time with anybody you don't want to be. So people who join the war room, they join and they want to become professional. They want to become absolutely and utterly professional. And like I said, we have extremely seasoned and experienced and successful men, but we also have people joining saying with nothing, but they're humble enough to learn. I come here, I'm young, I don't have any money, or I'm old, I have a little bit of money, or whatever it is, but I am here to learn and absorb. I want to commit. And if you learn and absorb and you're in the right place, then you can do fantastically well. So the war room, I mean, with the war room network now, I could never be broke ever again. It's impossible for me to ever go poor. I have access to billions of dollars I could loan from these men because I know they could trust me if they wanted to. I have a place I can sleep in 3,000 different locations around the world in big mansions. If I need a Lambo, they'd send it to me. If I needed a visa for a country that you can't get a visa for, someone there will have a business to give me an LLC, to give me a visa via their business. If I need a jet, it comes. If I need information on anything, if I need to do a money transfer to Afghanistan, which if anyone's tried, they know how difficult that is. I got a guy who fixes that. Are you good? It's all there. It's everything. So whenever I have any problem in my life, no matter what it is, I go to the war room. And in fact, I'll prove the power of the war room right now. I became the most Googled man on the planet.
Yes.
I hacked every single social media algorithm to a way which people are sitting there trying to work out how I did it, and they can't work out exactly how it's done. The war room did that. I went to them and said, I've decided to go overt as opposed to being underground. I want to go overt and break mainstream. And 4 months later, I was the most Googled man on the planet.
The war room did that.
Of course. There's not many organizations on the planet that can do something like that.
None.
So when you have something that powerful, I created it because I wish it existed. That's what I was looking for when I got rich, and it didn't exist. So I created it myself.
Yeah.
And it's also, and I'll say this now, for any young man or any man who's serious about his journey or serious about himself, it's the most important place you can be. You're going to learn absolutely everything about the realities of Earth. Do not waste your time in some university. Do not waste your time reading books. Do not waste your time on YouTube watching some dork talk about Amazon FBA. Don't be an idiot. Join the war room and you'll learn, and there's a spiritual journey involved as well. But every single person who joins the war room ends up being an absolute consummate professional. And that's the most profitable enterprise. Yeah, so I'm a proponent of crypto. I do use crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, the big ones.
Okay.
I think that chasing crypto pumps is now over. The bull run's over. The stupid money is gone. Most people don't understand about crypto that it's person versus person. I see they launch these coins, and then they start a Telegram community. And then if you go in the community, if you get in the community, everyone's like, yeah, we're all in this together. No, you're not. No. You're not in this together. If you're buying or if you're selling, if you buy crypto at $1 and then you sell it at $10. Someone bought it off you at $10.
Probably in that same Telegram.
Probably in the same Telegram group. So you're literally stealing money from the other people in your community, the other people who believe in the project. You're stealing money from them. It's player versus player. They start these stupid communities so all of you sit there and don't dump so that the developer could dump. You're all dummies.
All of you guys,
you're all dummies. It's player versus player. And a lot of the dumb money is now gone. People who were stupid, who believed in all this crap,
learned their lesson.
They've lost all their money. So now the only people left in crypto is the smart money, and that's very, very hard to steal, right? So I think that the idea of chasing a pump right now is very foolish. I also think that one of the detrimental things about crypto is that it recently made people a bunch of money. Yeah, sure. In the last 2 to 3 years, or 6 months, 9 months, whatever it was, the bull run. But the people who made money with crypto didn't learn any real skills. They didn't learn sales. They didn't learn marketing. They didn't learn management. Didn't learn how to deal with stress. Didn't learn how to grow a company. Didn't learn how to deal with taxes.
They didn't struggle.
They didn't learn anything. They didn't struggle. There was no pain. They bought a coin. They watched it go up. Now they tell the world how smart they are. They think they're a genius. They think they're too good to work, these people. Nah, I'm too smart to work. You don't understand. I know crypto. I bought this coin. My friend, every single coin went up. You're not a genius. Everything went up. All of them went up. You could have bought anything. You were in the right place at the right time. You made a little bit of money, but you've learned absolutely zero. And unfortunately, if you have money but no lessons and you're still a dummy, that money is not going to last long and you're going to lose it. And the world we live in now is also hyper expensive. Like, you make a couple $100,000 and you think you're rich.
You lose 20% the same day.
Bro, like,
inflation.
The amount of money you need nowadays to be considered rich is ridiculous. I was with Dan Bilzerian a couple weeks ago, and I was telling him how quickly my life has changed. I used to go to a holiday for a week with 500, 600 pounds, right? For the week. When Dan messaged me and said, hey, let's hang out. He was in France. I was in Romania. I was like, cool. I had some cars in Germany. I had trucked over to wait for me there because the roads are nice. I organized my jet from Bucharest to France. I needed a security team to come with me. I hired the security team to come with me. I like to use my Romanian guys, so we had to get a bigger jet to accommodate them. By the time we jetted in with the security team, picked up the cars, everybody, 6 or 7 people needed 5-star hotel rooms. Everybody ate food. I sat and had a meeting with Dan. I took the cars for a spin around the mountains, went to a spa a little bit, jumped back on the jet with the entire security team, put the cars back on a truck to Germany, and flew home. So by the time I had a 3-hour meeting with a friend, it cost me 400 grand.
Oh my goodness.
That's how expensive the world is at the top. So you're sitting there and you've made 200 grand on a crypto pump, and you think, oh yeah, I'm rich. You are a brokey, and you haven't even learned any lessons. You're a dummy. So I think crypto's bad for kids because it has a whole bunch of kids out here thinking they don't need to work hard. They don't need to dedicate themselves. They don't need to learn important lessons. They can just chase a pump and win the lottery, and it ain't going to happen. That's whether you lose all their money. So that's the bad thing about crypto. And that's why I'll sit here right now and do a plug and say, join the real world instead, and join Hustlers University instead, and learn real lessons that you can apply to anything. So you'll never be broke, and have a real network like the War Room. So you can never be broke. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to $1 million or zero. I'll make money either way. I'll make money either way. Because I have skills, and not by day trading, not by that. I'm just going to know things other people don't know before they know them. I'm just going to have opportunities identified and presented to me before other people have them. And it doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes down to zero or it goes up to $10 million a coin. Either way, I'm going to make insanely large sums of money because of my network and because I'm respected and because I know important people. And that's the problem with these crypto kids. They have none of that. I'd like to think I'm pretty all encompassing when it comes to strengths, and I've made sure of that. My father had a saying, which is now my saying, as I'm the oldest Tate. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. And I stand by that. I do like to believe I'm a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. If someone were to come up to you and say, you have to have a skateboarding competition, but don't worry, the guy you're skateboarding against can't skateboard. You'd be like, cool. And then I turned up. Part of you'd be like, shit. Even I can't even skateboard. But part of you'd be like, Tate.
This guy.
It's not this guy. You know, I'm just that guy.
He's pretty good.
I'm just that guy I'm just good at stuff. And nobody wants to compete against me at anything. So I'm good at everything. My weaknesses, I've strongly analyzed my weaknesses. In fact, I've sat around with friends of mine and with people who I care about dearly and who care about me back and said, if I had to hurt me, how would I do it? If I decided to do damage to me in my life, how would I do it? Where are my weaknesses? It's been analyzed and talked about and discussed at length.
Because you need to do that reflection.
You have to know. Most people don't do that. No. Most people don't say, if someone wanted to ruin my life, how would they ruin it? So I know all of my weaknesses. I know all my weak points. Obviously, I defend and guard them the best you can, but obviously not everything can be completely defended and guarded. I know what they are. I'm not going to advertise them to the feral psychopaths of Earth. But I think in terms of how difficult a target on earth is, I'm certainly one of the top hardest people on earth to damage, whether emotionally, psychologically, physically, etc. I'm extremely difficult to damage because I live a reality in which I'm very conscious of these things, paranoid perhaps, and I'm hard to get to. Most men, you can just steal his girlfriend. Most men, you just steal his chick.
Exactly.
You steal his chick or just run up on him when he goes to the chicken chip shop. And most men are so easy to hurt. Most men you can just lie about in the media, Matrix attack them, and they'll have a mental breakdown. Most men are so absolutely not mentally.
They'll say sorry.
They'll cry. I did none of that stuff, right? Most men, you can just you can just get a famous guy with a blue tick to message his girl, and bam, before you know it, she's in his bed talking about how that man. Like, most men are absolutely not easy to hurt.
They're controlled by all their emotions.
Completely.
But how do you detach yourself from your emotions?
It's not about detaching yourself from your emotions. I feel every single emotion. It's just about using them all. It's using them all in a positive direction.
Yeah.
If I feel extremely happy and excited, I'm going to use that as motivation or energy to do amazing things and do good and work hard. If I feel absolutely depressed and distraught, I'm going to use that as endless energy and motivation to do amazing things and work hard. It doesn't matter what you give me. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted and transferred. It doesn't matter what fuel you give me. If you give me diesel, petrol, kerosene, vodka, doesn't matter what you put inside of my engine.
Hard work is going to come out.
Absolutely.
Success.
That's all I know how to do. Yeah. That's all I know how to do. It doesn't matter what fuel you put in my engine. My engine only knows how to do one thing, and that is succeed. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you feed me with. I'm going to be massively successful regardless.
Yeah.
So I missed my father's funeral because I just moved to Romania. I had just invested every single penny I had in this enterprise. I was now the oldest man alive in the Tate family. I had to look after my mother and my siblings and take care of people. I had to make a choice. Do I fly back to America and spend money and time and go to this funeral and, waste a few weeks? Or do I sit here and just focus on this enterprise and make sure that it cannot fail? And we talked earlier about speed. Most people go, it's only 2 weeks. It's only a week. It's only a week. The people who say it's only a week are the people who are broke.
They don't value time.
That's the reason you're all poor, because you say it's only a week. It's tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it later. It's only an hour. It's only a day. It's only a minute. You are competing against people like me. We do not waste a second. So I had to make a decision. And I decided that as the oldest man in the family, it's more important that I achieve financial stability for all of us than to go and pay respects to my father and his funeral, because I paid respect to him every single day of his life. And I pay respect to his memory every single day now. And I pay respect to him by being monumentally successful. The reason my father is talked about and discussed at length is because of the absolutely amazing son I've become. Yeah. I am keeping him alive forever by working so hard, by becoming so unique and individual and fantastic and humble. The world asks me about my upbringings, and then my father's memory is kept alive. So I know I made the right decision. And I know he's happy with the decision I made. Yeah. A lot of people would have gotten emotional and decided, I had to go to the funeral and had a breakdown and went to the funeral and been sad, et cetera, et cetera. And
you did what your dad thought.
I did what I was taught to do, which is perform. Yeah. That's what I was taught to do. I was upset, obviously. I was sad, obviously. I was heartbroken, of course. But I took all of that energy and I worked harder than I've ever worked. I worked 22-hour days for months because I couldn't sleep. Yeah. And I became one of the most successful people on the planet. Kind of feel like I've lived many different lives. I feel like I've been alive many different times. People ask my life story and it's hard for me to surmise in one compendious series of events, because I've lived this entire existence as a professional fighter, this entire existence as a webcam owner, this entire existence broke, this entire existence rich. I feel like I've been alive many times, if that makes sense. So it's even difficult for me to surmise my life. It's been so varied. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. So there's only a few cities left on earth you can even, like, this is just a sheer on watch. I only wear this in Dubai. I wear it in Bucharest, but that's because I have Bucharest locked down head to toe. Most people don't.
It's your place.
It's my place. Yeah. Tokyo. Maybe some cities in Australia, which were kind of okay, but they're getting a bit worse. Yeah. That's it. Like that's it. You can't wear it in Western Europe. You can't wear it in America. You can't wear it in South America. You can't wear it in Africa. You can't wear a nice watch that you've earned.
Honestly.
The people will always make excuses, but you're completely right. There's a whole bunch of African nations with mass resource.
More, maybe.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of Western nations with a bunch of resource. But yeah, I think it comes down to the leadership and the vision of the leadership and the fact they truly care.
Exactly.
And that's different. And that's an argument that can be long and very, very detailed and interesting about the differences between a democracy and perhaps the ruling system here. Because the democracy, a lot of people get in, they have 3-4 years in power.
If you're too pussy to put your name and your face on your Twitter profile, then you already are a bitch. Done. If you're too pussy You put your name and your face on your own Twitter, on your own account, then you're a bitch. Every anon is a pussy. All. And they're going to sit there and go, oh, but you don't understand when you're in the professional corporate, that you ain't in corporate, you work in fucking Starbucks, nerd. Talking shit, you ain't in no fucking corporate job. And even if you are, I make more per day than you do per month. Who gives a fuck about your job? You probably need to get fired. So anyone who Limitable Man's an anon with a whole bunch of followers chatting shit, and he's getting fresh, and like it was a long thing with me and him. He used to try and call me out and say things to me on the sly, whatever. But he used to say relatively intelligent musings on females. And then it all came out. He had an internet girlfriend who he's never met in his life. And they were together for 9 months on the internet. She dumped him, and he had a mental breakdown on Twitter in front of everyone. His 9-month internet girlfriend dumped him. This is the dude who was telling people how to deal with girls. If that doesn't prove the internet's full of fucking frauds, what more do you need to, like, what more is there? Why is every leader in the red pill space just a bitter dude who got dumped in a divorce? All. So if you know so much about chicks, why can't you even just stay married? They're all geeks. They look like geeks. And by the logic of the eternal Tristan Tate, if you look like a geek, you must be one. Like a geek, it's the reality. They're all nerds. So I am the Lord Supreme Commander of that corner of Twitter. No one can step to me in any serious regard. To disagree with me and to step to me in any regard is only to discredit yourself. Because if you cannot acknowledge my supreme abilities and undeniable achievements, then you're nothing but a hater. If you're a hater, you're a little bitch. You cannot come on Twitter and type, Tate doesn't understand females, and press enter without doing anything other than making yourself look stupid. I don't even have to reply. You look like a dickhead if you type that. And everyone knows you're a dickhead. They're like, okay, this dude's no shit. So you think Tate doesn't know shit. You don't know shit. That's it. So I'm basically Supreme Commander of Twitter. I'm basically Lord of all beasts of the land and fishes in the sea. So that's the answer to the question. I'm the Lord of all beasts on the land. I know who doesn't like me out there. I know who they all are. And then and none of them will at me. None of them. Illimitable Man's the only one who kind of half-atted me when his girlfriend dumped him. Me and his girlfriend were making fun of him in the inbox. His girlfriend was like, yeah, he's a fucking loser. And I was sitting there going, yeah, I know, the loser. His girl, he was crying over his chick. And she was making fun of him, sending me the screenshots of him telling her he's going to kill himself.
Some people like catfish, dude, you know?
This is a dude who teaches how to get girls. Like, I know who these people are, man. They're all fucking bumblecluts. I know who doesn't like me. There's loads of dudes who don't like me, but they can't say anything. What can you do? What can you do when your brand is entrepreneurs in cars, and I have more cars than you, more money than you, and I've never been divorce raped, and I don't pay for girls to be with me, I don't buy prostitutes? How can you at me on Twitter? Like, what can you say to me? Like, it's just, I'm untouchable. I'm like fucking, I don't know, name someone untouchable. Steven Seagal. I'm Steven motherfucking Seagal.
Nice callback. Solid.
So what are you gonna say? You can't say shit to Big Daddy Tate.
Yeah.
Then what happened was, to add to it all, that Mike Stitchbury guy, I knocked on his door. That put waves through the Twitter world because I was like, shit, Tate's crazy. He turns up your house. Yes, I did. I said, I'll knock on your door. You got something to say to me, no problem. I'll knock on your door. That's not even a threat. I'm not even threatening anybody. I'm just saying, I will come. I will knock. Say hello. And see if you have the same demeanor when I'm standing there.
Right.
You won't. You're a pussy. And I've got all the money and time in the world. I can fly to anywhere on this planet. I don't care if you live in Timbuktu, motherfucking too. I will turn up first class.
Shit, dude, you're not even hiring a private jet.
I'm not into private flying yet. In fact, I said to Tristan only a couple days ago, I need to get a private jet just to get Instagram pictures to flex on the brokers. So we called a private jet company, and we were looking at flights from Bucharest to somewhere nearby, a 1-hour flight. But there's very few private jets in Romania. It's not like from London to Paris, it's actually quite cheap. You do it for like $5,000. You get a jet because it's so often. But Romania, the only private jets are actually owned by people, by like politicians and stuff. So to get a private jet here, it's like $20,000 to get it here, and then it's another flight there, and then another flight back. So it costs me about $60. The next time I'm in, which ain't worth it for Instagram. The next time I'm in London, I'm gonna fly to Paris on a private jet. Me, Tristan, 10 of my females. I'm gonna try and bring a dog as well, like my dog, luggage, booze, just to make the broke boys upset. I think I'm a nice guy, and people are not gonna believe me. Like, what? I'm not a nice guy. I don't know anyone like me. I'm talking about people with more money than me, who will pick up every bill they sit in front of, who will blow spend $20,000 on champagne so everyone else can have fun with the evening, who will take everyone out, who will just, I'm the least frugal human on earth. If I have $10, I'll spend it all. So I consider myself an excellent host. If people come to Romania, I go out of my way and clear my schedule to do activities I wouldn't normally do to make sure they enjoy. I'm the best host on earth, and I'll pay for the whole fucking thing. So I consider myself a very nice guy. And I do that just because that's the kind of person I am. I'm a nice man. That's why I do it. I'm a nice man. If I like you, I want you to have fun. I understand that I'm relatively, I'm not rich, but I'm relatively fortunate financially, and I'm happy to pay for it because I want you to enjoy your time, and it's my gift to you. That's one thing. The people who I hire to work for me, working for me is exceptionally, I'm not going to sit and pretend it's easy, because everything good in life comes at the end of difficulty. So I have to find people who understand that. Like this ain't, I'm not just like, oh, send me your CV and okay, maybe send your CV, we'll test. No, I don't want bumblecluts. I can't stand that. Like, I can't have bumblecluts working for me. Like the people who work for me have to be capable of dealing with the realities of Earth. Realities of Earth is that we need to make shitloads of money and we need to do it now. And if you fuck with me too tough, I'll punch you in the face. That's who I am as a man. So the people who work for me need to understand that. So it's my team it's a very unique individuals. But anyone who can work with me for long enough is going to leave with the life skills it takes to be. Like, making money really isn't that. What's difficult is finding people you can make money with who aren't fucking. This is the only problem I have left in my life is finding staff who aren't ridiculous. It's super hard. It's super hard. Like really, it's genuinely super hard. So if like when people sit and go, oh yeah, and I don't know, like everyone has different philosophies to business. My philosophy to business is probably completely different than everyone else's. But when I see like people just, oh, I've put a team together in 2 weeks and there's 10 of us, I'm sitting there thinking, if you found 10 people in 2 weeks, 9 are shit. Fact.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, it's probably 10. Like, I don't care what's on their CV. They're shit, you know? So it's finding good people. Like, I don't hire people because I have a gap. I hire people based on who they are and I'm finding it. So if I find someone now who I think is good, I'll hire them anyway. I'll find them a job later. If their attitude's right and they understand, then I'll hire them. I'll find a job. As opposed to thinking, I need someone for this, let me find someone. I do it the other way, you know? But it's so rare I find people who genuinely understand the mission to come out of it. You can't be lord of all beasts on the land, fishes in the sea. You can't pay your way. This is the thing, man. I scroll up and down on Twitter and I see people like, oh, I don't know, my basketball game. I won my basketball game. I won my jiu-jitsu competition, even jiu-jitsu, which is bullshit. It's a watered down fight, but I'll carry on. My basketball game or whatever. All sport ever was a replacement for war. That's all it ever was. Like there was wars between tribes of people. They'd have a fight. And the people who didn't die was in charge. But then they sit there and go, you know what, instead of killing each other, let's just play this game, which is kind of like a replay. You know, we'll play football or something, or a wrestling match. And then no one has to die to who knows. So that's all competition's ever been. And fighting's the purest form of competition. So like, if once you've been a fighter, what other competition matters? Like, how can I possibly have interest in putting a ball in a net when I've been smashing people's skulls in for 15 years? Like, who gives a fuck about putting a ball in a net? Who cares? Who cares if I win? Who cares if I put the ball in net 20 times and he puts it in 0? So I didn't whoop his ass in front of his wife. I didn't do shit. Nothing. So like, and on top of that, you add in the element that fighting is a genuine adrenaline rush because it's life or death. So then you add in the boredom element. Like, what in life is entertaining after years of professional fighting? You think I can go to the movies and be like, wow, great movie, man. That was wow. Think I can read a fucking comic book like a dork, pain? I make millions of dollars and I'm still bored. I'm still sitting there. I can make $100,000 a day and be like, whatever. But if I win a fight, it's different because it's life or death. I survived. When the feeling of a fight being over is like getting you all clear from cancer. Like imagine you got like a cancer diagnosis and you have 0% chance of survival, 50-50. And for 3 months, 5 hours a day, you're at the doctor's doing the best you can to try and survive. And then bang, it's over. Yes, all clear. It's that level of like relief and joy. You can't replicate it with normality. There's no replication for it. So when you retire, you're just like, oh, this is why all fighters, when they retire, end up depressed or blowing their brains out. This is like, nothing in life compares to any level. When you're a fighter, you raise the bar so high that you realize how shit normal life is. Shit is boring. And nothing interesting ever happens. Ever. Nothing interesting happens. You eat, you see your aunt now and again. Bullshit. Bullshit, you know? Or like, and when I see people on Twitter like so excited about, hey, fucking little league, whatever we're doing, if you knew about genuine competition and genuine sport and genuine adversity and genuine life or death and genuine grit and genuine pain, if you knew about the genuine shit, you'd understand genuine joy, and you realize that everything else is just a cheap imitation. So that's why I still feel like I need to fight. But my head tells me, Andrew, you're a fucking multimillionaire with every supercar under the sun, living in a mansion with other shit to do besides train all day and fight some 24-year-old psycho from Kazakhstan. So it's complicated.
Yeah, man.
That's my answer. Well, that's a good way to be. The problem is, when you fight at my level, when you get punched in the face, you can't really punch back that well. So, like, with me, like, this is another thing about it. Fighting, most people's experiences of fighting are purely emotional, like you just described there. I've never really been nervous in a street fight because I'm angry, or there's a reason, or he's touched my girlfriend, or he's pissed me off. But I was scared before every single fight because there's no emotionality. You understand where I'm coming from? It's like, on this date, you fight this man here. And you know for 3 months he's dedicated his life to being as dangerous as possible to hurt you. And you've done the same thing. But there's none of that, there's no anger. So it's a business transaction. And for that reason, it makes it far more daunting. And of course, the consequence of fighting is different. Ronaldo how many games has Ronaldo lost? I don't even know. I'm sure he's lost plenty. How many times has his team lost? Loads. How many tennis matches has Nadal lost? Loads. I mean, he wins, but he's lost plenty. Because that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as a fighter, you lose once. Ooh, lost. They're going to remind you of that shit. Everyone's going to remind you of that shit forever. Doesn't matter if you've won 1,000 times. You lost once. Remember when that guy kicked your ass? So it's like, it's high pressure. It's high stakes. It's like the highest stakes game you can play. You can get knocked out and never wake up again. It's the highest stakes game. It's like playing a video game on the hardest possible difficulty for 15 years and then playing the same game on super, super easy. It's just not fun anymore, you know? That's I can't explain. There's a reason why fighters fight, and there's a reason why it's so difficult to quit. It's a reason why none of them retire when they should, because it's very difficult. At least, I mean, the reason he sold grills is because the majority of fighters just end up broke. Like, I know for a fact the only reason I can retire, or I have retired, is because I can supplement and distract myself from my nagging feeling to fight by doing crazily expensive things. If I was still living a normal life, there's no way on God's green earth I would have retired, or could have retired. Even if I was losing every single fight and getting my ass kicked, even if I was injured and I didn't have it anymore, I would still have to fight to stay sane. But now, every time I feel like fighting, I can get in a McLaren 720S and drive like a fucking psychopath across Europe through the Alps. And I can slam 10 supermodels. And I can drink, champagne. I can spend 20 grand a night in the club. And if I do that often enough, I can distract myself from feeling like fight for a while. But it's expensive. So the main reason I can retire is because my life outside of fighting is so exceptional. But if it was ordinary, I would be 1,000,000,000,000%. Which also carries guilt, because then I feel like, am I wasting my youth? Am I wasting my powers? Am I just fucking around? But then there's another side of it. It's like, well, no, because you're putting all your powers into generating cash. You're doing exceptional. So there's no easy answer. I don't fucking know. Should have done it way sooner. I guess what happened is people for a long time were asking for my help in various regards. Doesn't matter. I mean, my first ever thing started with like the PhD. So it doesn't matter if it was about girls or making money or whatever. People were constantly asking for my help. And my attitude was fuck. And then I got, after like the 1,000th request, I kind of thought, you know what? Maybe I should stop being such a dick. So I'll help these. Like I genuinely started all these this whole enterprise from a philanthropic point of view. Like I consider myself a philanthropist. Like, okay, everyone's asking me. I ran a webcam company. I had 75 girls work for me. Everyone understands. I also understand female nature. Everyone's asking me about girls. I've been asked this 1,000 times. Well, I don't want to repeat myself 1,000 times, so let me just make a video explaining basically all I know. And fuck it, I'll charge some money for it. So that's kind of how it started. It was much more like, well, people keep asking, and I put the PhD course together. And that's still on the website now, critic.com. It explains everything I learned about women from start to finish when I made my millions of dollars with webcam. If anyone's watching this doesn't know I ran a webcam company, that's the whole story with itself. But yeah, so that was it. It kind of started from point of view, and people kept asking me different questions. People kept asking me for different things, and I've just basically been giving people what they wanted in some regards. I mean, I'm very understanding of the fact that, and this is not bravado, this is reality. I'm very understanding of the fact that I live the stereotypical dream of most males from shallow. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect or my life's perfect. I'm saying if you just ask a man on a very shallow surface level, what do you want? They're going to say, well, Lambo and a mansion and a bunch of chicks. And it's basically what they're all going to say. Like, no guy's going to say no to that. I'm sure everyone wants more than that. They may want a family or whatever else below that. That's a good surface level bullshit start, a very shallow start. And I know I live that life. I know I promote that. So a lot of people are attracted to that. And then they want to know, how to do this, how to do that, blah, blah, blah. So people were asking me. And I just thought, okay, I'll put it all together because people were asking. And it kind of became what it was. And when I first started it all, I wasn't like passionate about it in any way. I mean, it made me some money, but I already had money. So much. But then, like, when the war room started happening and the war room summit started happening and so much crazy, amazing shit started happening, then it became super cool. It's super cool. People join the war room and now, like, their lives have totally changed. They've gone from making no money to like $10,000 a month in line. Their lives are totally different. Returning up to my events, like, they've got cash. It's just like, it's fucking nuts. So then it became, and even a pessimistic bastard like me can see how cool it is to help you, So, like, it is super cool. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. I was just following the market asked and I delivered. Yes, that's kind of how it was. Because for a long time I was just bragging. I was just on Twitter bragging. I was going on Twitter every day. 10 hot chicks, Lambo, champagne. I was just bragging. I was just flexing on the broke boys. And then the broke boys started saying, "How do you flex so hard?" I said, "Well, I'll teach you." That's right, exactly. I was just flexing on the broke boys. That's how it started. I've always been. There's a lot more to me than that anyway. It's just what I use. It's just what I thought was Twitter. But yeah, I mean, the war room is certainly a lot of people. The war room's grown into something absolutely amazing. I can't talk about too much about who's inside and what happens, but it really is fantastic inside. There's no group like it, and there's people inside there who are in Neil Strauss's mastermind for 20 grand a year, all this crazy shit. They're all saying so it has turned into an amazing thing. But yeah, it all just kind of started with bragging, and then as things grew, like, obviously if I'm in the war room, I get my 100% my personality, so they need a lot more than that. But with Twitter, I'm very surface level, I guess, sometimes. But the reason, I guess a lot of the reason, my number one problem with Twitter isn't even my ideological adversaries, really, because I understand that. I think that's why I am how I am. I don't think, and the reason I was flexing so hard on the broke is just to prove I was legit. Because Twitter's full of fakes, man. Twitter's full of fakes. And like, there's so many people on there just pretending to be something they're not. So one of the reasons I was so adamant to just show off was to show that I'm not full of shit. Because most people on Twitter, especially in the red pill manosphere, day game, they are full of shit. And they're like anon accounts. Hey, just pulled a 9.3, banged her first night because my frame was so solid. It's just like, bro, you're a fucking geek. You're a geek. You're a fucking geek. You didn't pull no 9.3 from a mall in Winnipeg, Minnesota. A 9 is on a billionaire's boat. That's where a 9 is. And she's got 1 million followers on Instagram, minimum. You're telling me you pulled a 9 from a fucking coffee shop in your Toyota Corolla? Shut the fuck up. They're just fucking nerds. And then all these guys are giving out advice on girls. I don't even have to name names, just loads of them. I'm fucking Mr. This, I'm Mr. That, giving out advice on girls. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, you got a divorce, and you got a divorce. So you know so much about fucking girls, all your women have left you, which is fine. But you obviously don't know that much. Like, you all got fucking left. I had 75 women make me millions of dollars. Who's more qualified? Genuinely, who's more qualified? So I was like, okay. So when I'm posting me with all these hot chicks, the main point of it is just saying, well, where's all these other dudes' chicks? You're fucking red pill, Mr. Day Game, Manosphere. We're all fucking frauds. I'm the most legit guy on that website. And just the reality of it, I'm the most legit guy on Twitter. So a lot of the flexing is just proof, because I don't want anyone to think I'm full of shit, and I'm not. Everything I've ever said is true. Anyone who's ever met me has said, yeah, you actually downplayed this. I know. And the whole fucking sphere, our sphere, has a couple good guys in it and a shitload of fakers. Shitloads. You know as well as me, man. You read through some, you're just like, whatever. Like, I can smell bullshit from a million miles.
So everyone's just frauds on there. So that's one of the main reasons I came through fights. You know, I had to obsess it. It's just because there's no other way to prove true. What's the word? It's the only way to certify yourself is absolutely congruent to the truth. Just show evidence, show your receipts, and that's the war room mantra: show your receipts. I've done this. Show me. Oh, next week. No, fuck off. I mean, I'm not the reality of life at all. I see myself as a what's the word? Hustler is the word, but I don't like that word because the idea of hustling is do anything it takes to make money and be quick and just be on the task. But people use it for bullshit, like selling their old shoes. Like, you know, I made $10. I sold my own. That's what they say hustling is. My idea of hustling is generating millions of dollars from the sky. I'm certainly not an entrepreneur. I'm a guy who needs money to live the lifestyle that he wants to live. So I find something. And thinking of returning to fighting soon. And yeah, I run my mouth on Twitter, but that's basically it. Hiding out here in Romania. So yeah, that's who I am. And as for the War Room, as you said, the War Room is a private members community I have on the website, critic.com. We have 400 members now. We're growing stronger by the day. We're doing 5 or 6 events a year. So that's very, very exciting, changing lives for everyone involved. So if you don't know about the War Room, once again, you're missing out. I decided to fight next week, but it's difficult and it's very hard. My heart says yes, my head says no. But I'm a logically driven person. So I always listen to my head. But it's hard when your heart tells you to do the same thing every single day. It's difficult. I'm living in purgatory, stuck in the middle. And sometimes I'm like 100% certain yes, sometimes I'm 100% certain no. It's very, very difficult. And people would say, well, why is it difficult? Well, it's just difficult because fighting is not something you choose to do. Fighting is something you have to do. Anyone who's a professional fighter has to fight because fighting is the worst sport in the world. Like there's no, it's the worst career path possible. 99.9% of fighters make no money. You're risking death. You're risking injury. Even if you end up a millionaire, you're spending the large majority of your career broke in some bullshit gym, struggling for no reason. It's hard. It's underappreciated. I mean, it's fine when you win, but eventually you lose and all the couch potatoes laugh. Like it's the most bullshit sport. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Why wouldn't you just play football and be a millionaire and put a ball in it? Why would you go through hell for probably no reward at all? And the answer is because you don't have a choice. Because warriors are born. Warriors are not made. Warriors are born. And if you're born a warrior, you have to fight. You just have to fight. People say, why do you fight? It's like, because I have to. So why? It's because I have to. I have to.
It's kind of amazing how something so intangible, emotional, like absolute self-belief can play out so heavily in the tangible world of bricks and mortars and Ferraris and money. But it's the physical and metaphysical that combine. That's what makes life so beautiful, all the things we understand and all the things we don't understand. But often I say to people, what's your dream? And they say, I want to escape the matrix. And I say, but will you? And I see in their eyes the flicker of doubt. They're confused by the question. Andrew, I want to escape the matrix. Will you? They don't know. They have no idea if they will or not. They don't believe if they will or not. They've never thought about that. It's easy to think about what you want. It's difficult to think about what you're actually going to have and do because then you are accountable for that. Now you have to take action. I want lots of things, but I know which things I'm going to be able to do and which things I'm not going to be able to do. So please understand the matrix operates on different levels. They convince you to not try and escape. If you do want to escape, they convince you can't do it. You must believe in yourself and you must test yourself. You must become so brutally competent that you know there is nothing you cannot achieve. And when you've done those things and you truly believe, and the universe, by some freak accident, decides to place me in the exact place you are, you're walking down nobody's street in a no-name town, and you see Andrew Tate, the top G, and you say, I don't believe it. It's you, it's Andrew Tate. I watch all your videos, I love your stuff. I want to escape the matrix. You should know exactly what to answer when I reply. You know what? When I was younger, I grew up in the south side of Chicago before moving to Goshen, Indiana. I was from a disadvantaged area, the ghetto, you could say. And I used to hear people say, especially my dad's friends, one of them was a gangster, one of them was a pimp, bro, I caught a case. I remember saying to my dad, what does caught a case mean? He goes, it's like when you catch a cold. Sometimes you just catch a cold. You just catch a case. Like, yo, got a case against me, I just caught one. Happens. I always thought that was a strange premise. Well, if you do nothing wrong, how can you catch a case? God taught me that. You just catch a case. You wake up, you're a G, you're doing your thing, you're going through life. Women love you, good friends, making a bunch of money, everything's fine. Boom, caught a case. It's like when you go to the grocery store, come back with a sniffle. Happens. So I caught a case, went to jail, Romanian jail. And when I was in jail, I used many methods to make the overall experience more pleasant. But one of the things I did is I repeatedly looked around jail, as desolate and desperate of a situation it was, with the cockroaches, with the lack of food, with the hole in the floor to piss in, with the mentally ill people, with the screaming, with the 3 suicides in the first 2 weeks, with the guards who constantly threw everything all over the floor, with all the garbage we went through. I thought, where would I hate to be more than this? Where would be a worst place to be? And I came up with a bunch of scenarios. There's actually quite a few. You think you'd go to jail, but there's actually a bunch of places you'd rather not be than jail. You wouldn't want to be in a car wreck. Imagine wake up, you're in a car wreck, your leg's gone. That would suck. You wouldn't want to be in Ukraine right now in a trench. That would suck. So I was coming up with a bunch of scenarios. One of the scenarios I came up with, I wouldn't want to be on a submarine. Now we're not going to talk about the Titanic submarine thing, because that's just dumb. Bro, that's stupid. Let me explain to you why that's stupid. I was talking to someone the other day, and she was like, you got loads of money. Would you ever do something like that? I was like, no way. Because I have loads of money, yes, but I grew up disadvantaged. And I think when you grow up disadvantaged, you have this different sense of danger. If you're like a billionaire white boy, you'll go swim with sharks. I've never seen anyone from south side of Chicago say, I want to swim with sharks, ever. You could make them all win the Powerball 200 times in a row, and none of them would ever wake up and go, I'm going to go swim with sharks. Our life is extreme enough. I've seen enough danger. Fuck the sharks. No. Don't want to go anywhere near sharks, and I don't want to go to the bottom of the ocean. I'll tell you why I don't want to go to the bottom of the ocean. If my man, Mr. Idiot Professor who got crushed, came to me and said, I built a submarine, all right, and we can go to the bottom of the ocean, okay, and we can explore the Titanic. Say, okay, how do we see the Titanic? Well, through this television screen. Fine. Then why do I have to go? Why can't we just send a sub or send a drone and I watch it from a television screen up here with my bitches? Why the fuck am I getting in a fucking tube to watch it on TV anyway? What? Please make that make sense to me. You're watching it on a screen in a tube instead of watching on a screen on the left. Why? And why wasn't there a chain attached to the submarine? So when there's a problem, it's just like, boom, yank it up. I know that must not be possible for some reason, but I don't buy it. Must have been possible. Whole thing's stupid. Anyway, I'm not even talking about that submarine. I'm talking about a normal submarine, a functioning battle nuclear sub, a real sub. I was sitting there with Tristan saying, I bet life on a submarine would be shit. And he goes, yeah, who even joins the Navy nowadays? I was like, bruv, fuck knows. Fuck knows. The age of exploration is over. We can look at Google Maps. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to see. You're not a pirate. What are you doing? You're on a sub. You join the Navy, you go to the submarine. Cool. You're in the submarine now. It's underwater. You're there. You have a job to do. I guess you press some buttons a couple hours a day. You go to the mess hall, you eat. It sounds like jail. With the chance of dying, of course. Probably worse than jail. But I thought, you know what? Life on a submarine may not be that bad. So let me go and do some investigation. So since I've been out of jail, I looked up life on a nuclear sub to see what it's like. And I learned that they have, I think the day has different number of hours in it. I think they have 18 hours in a day. They change it. They get rid of the 24 hours. There's 18 hours in a day. You do 6 hours sleeping, 6 hours work, and 6 hours recreation, something like that. And then most parts of the submarine you never even get to see because it's all classified. So you're a loser. You wake up in your loser bunk. You go to your loser station. You do your loser things. You go eat your loser food, go to the loser gym, back to your loser bunk on repeat. People are doing this voluntarily for a very meager wage. Don't understand it. They're doing this. So I was sitting there going, well, there's no freedom or exploration or fun in that. It's not even like you're on a boat. You can't even wake up in the morning and look out the window and go, oh yeah, wow, just the ocean. Nah, bruv. See nothing. So I was like, that's dumb. So then to highlight how stupid all of it is, when I was watching this documentary, they had a sailor who was talking about his mission. And he felt very proud that he was serving the Navy and he was protecting his country and he was doing such a fantastic job. And he was in such a dangerous part of the world. Interesting. It's like, how do you feel in danger in a submarine? But he was saying, well, it was actually during the Syrian conflict, during the Syrian civil war. I think when Russia just got interested in Syria, the West sent some subs near Syria. Who knows? And he said to me, Yeah, we're in a very dangerous part of the world right now. Obviously, there's a lot of nuclear powers and a lot of other countries which have vested interest in this part of the world. So we're particularly on high alert. We're in a very dangerous area. And I was like, I wonder where he is. So I picked up a map. Literally, I paused the video, picked up a map. I looked where Syria is. I looked at like the Med, I looked around like Egypt, Red Sea, whatever. I was like, I wonder where he is. By coincidence, like after I clicked on pause, 3 seconds later, after I said he was in a dangerous area, they showed where the location of the sub was. My man was in fucking just off the coast of Croatia. I was like, gee, I've been there on a yacht with women. You're talking about a dangerous area. You had me thinking you were in the middle of a fucking nuclear war zone. The way he said we're in a dangerous area, it's a really dangerous part of the world. There's a lot of countries around right now, and there's a lot of vested interest in this area. My man was literally 200 miles off the coast of Croatia. He was literally exactly where my yacht was. And I sat and I paused. I said, Tristan, look at this shit. When we were on the yacht, with all those women and our staff and our big fat cigars, laughing, jumping in and out the water, having a great time, there was some dickhead 100 miles below us in the cold, walking around in a circle of imprisonment between the gym, his shit job, and his bunk bed, convinced that he was in somehow a dangerous part of the world. The psyop required for you to live that life is remarkable. If only he would have got his periscope and looked up and seen me and a bunch of big booty bitches, he might have realized he was getting fucking famoosed. Dumb. So, working on a submarine shit. Then, I tried to expand out from there. What other scenarios would be super shit? But just as I'm about to tell you, I'm remembering something that someone once told me. And someone said to me, Andrew, do you know why they're matrix attacking you? I said, why? So because you're coming for all of the largest psyops that they use to control the masculine youth. You convince people to not join the army and go die for their forever wars. You convince people to not join the Navy and go in a submarine so they can make endless profit off the back of you. You convince people to not go to university so they can put you in student debt and enslave you because you offer them money with the real world. These are platforms they've spent a long time and a lot of money trying to create, and they use their entire propaganda machine to convince people to adhere to and fall for. You can't just come along and become the most famous man in the world and say, don't go to university and don't join the army. You can't do that. Because if you do that, they're going to put you in jail. And I sat there and thought, that's interesting. And here I am. I just made a Tate speech about how submarines are fucking stupid. Now I'm about to tell you if you join the real world, you'll make more money than you never make in university. But because I understand the limit, I'm not going to tell you the other stupid places I don't want to go and the other stupid jobs I thought of, because basically all of them are in the military. So I'm never wrong about anything ever. I say that, and people go, oh, yeah. No, please understand me. I'm never wrong. For the people who have just encountered me or my brand, you may not know this, but the OGs who've been following me for 5 or 6 years, no, I've been right about everything. It was day one of COVID. Everyone was afraid. I knew. Just knew it was bullshit. I just know things. How I know things, that's a good question. I have this instinct. I'm from the streets, and now I'm at the absolute upper echelon of masculine performance, the highest possible echelons of life, from the lowest possible echelons of life. I think I've learned a lot along the way, but even the other people I encounter who have had a similar trajectory, they don't know what I know. I just know things. And the reason I'm saying this is because, as usual, time, my friend, proves me right in the end. And time has proved me right about something else, which I knew from the absolute beginning was complete bullshit. Complete garbage. So today we're going to talk about NFTs. There was a time when very successful, rich people were trying to convince me to spend millions of dollars on a JPEG. And they tried to explain to me that it's on the blockchain and it's one of one and you can see on the blockchain. Who the fuck is checking the blockchain for my JPEG, G? Who cares? 3 million for a Bugatti, fine, drive the Bugatti. 3 million for a JPEG. People can just copy and save the JPEG. No, but my JPEG's the real one. It's on the blockchain. Look on the blockchain. If you go to etherscan.com, bro, what planet are you on? Nobody gives a fuck about Etherscan, checking the blockchain. Even if I proved, after all, that I owned that picture, guess who would care? No one. Only nerds. It was a circle jerk of nerds. And there was all these crypto influencers on Twitter, bro. These are the worst people in the world, these people. All these crypto influencers. All unimpressive specimens of human. None of them have done anything difficult to actually make money. You know, if you want to make money in the real world, you have to learn skills along the way. If you want to go from $0 up to $10 million a year, you're going to have to learn how to deal with stress. You're going to learn how to deal with people, how to hold meetings, confidence,
how to manage staff. You're going to have to learn things. By the time you get there, you're going to be a better person, not just because of the wealth, because wealth amplifies who you are as a man, but because of the lessons you learn along the way. Whereas if you make a whole bunch of money with crypto, guess what you learned? Nothing. You didn't learn anything. You are still a dork, but now you're a rich dork, which makes you a mega dork. Money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you are. So all these crypto influencers, there's a couple of them. I don't want to throw names around. They were all over the page and, oh, this is the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Bruv. The fact you think that's worth money shows that you've always been a loser, and now you're just a loser with money. There's no real G on the planet who is spending money on those NFTs. Not one. I'm extremely wealthy, and I could have invested in the most expensive NFT, 3, 4, 5 million, whatever they were, and it wouldn't have even affected my bank balance, and I wouldn't have even cared. And I could have done it just as a, maybe I'll make some money. And I still didn't, out of principle, because I refused to sell my soul to the god of geekdom. No. And here we are, 2 years, year and a half, whatever later. Who cares about NFTs? What'd you say? Yes, correct. Nobody. Nobody cares. As usual, I was completely right. Nobody gives a shit. Bro, I saw there was pictures of a rock being sold for like, I don't know, 100 ether. I can't remember the prices. I just remember seeing it thinking, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I hope all of the people who invested in these NFTs lost all their money. I hope you're all desperate and poor. The great thing about people like that losing their money is they never learn any lessons along the way. So let's go back to what I said earlier about the fact that if you make money in the real world, you learn lessons which can be applied to life. So if you make it in the real world, even if you lose it all, you can make it all again, probably easier because you're a better version of yourself who knows new things. Whereas if you make it all with crypto, which is basically gambling, you get lucky. You don't know anything new. And you certainly are not in the position to go and get a real job or work hard because you've once experienced easy money. So you're not going to wake up and think, I'm going to be a hard worker, money's hard to make. I'm going to be disciplined, I'm going to be motivated. No, you're not one of them. You just want to win another gamble. And you sit there and go, if I can just pull it off one more time, this time I won't be stupid with the money. If I can just do it this once more, I promise I won't buy NFTs. I won't buy JPEGs. I'll buy real things. I'll buy stuff that matters. I'm sorry, God, just one more time. Let me go on Etherscan, or let me go and Pancake Swap and buy some shitcoin, please. Do a 200x this shitcoin, please. And they just lose everything. Everyone just loses everything. Continuously gamble to oblivion.
Mindset is your key to everything. Absolutely everything. Join the top G's on Patreon.